It seems to me that there was a lot of stuff that happened in the world of combat sports this past Saturday on Mexican Independence Day weekend in the city of Las Vegas. On one side, you had boxing, Edgar Berlanga versus Saul Canelo Alvarez, and in the other side, it was Mr. Turki Alalshik presenting some UFC event on the Sphere, which I really don't know who was fighting because I'm truly not a fan of UFC. I never liked the sport, but I respect all the fighters that participate in the sport. But I personally do not like it. I think it sucks. But I do know two superstars that did attend the UFC event, and it was Golden Boy's Oscar de la Hoya. I guess he was gonna hang around with Dana White. And also, Mr. Turki Alalshik was accompanied by none other than rap mogul Kendrick Lamar. Just kidding, Terence Crawford. I knew that was you, but I'm a boxing fan, so I recognize most boxers' faces, that are in a high level. But a lot of the people in combat sports will not know Terence Crawford. I know I said superstars in the beginning of the video, but does that make you a superstar if people cannot recognize your face? Alright guys, I know there are some content creators out there that think Terence Crawford is one of the faces of boxing. He is one of the pound for pound kings, but one of the faces of boxing, first, you have to be recognized by people, by your face, to be one of the faces of boxing. But that is neither here or there. In the same event, Terence Crawford calls out Saul Canelo Alvarez for a mega showdown fight, and Mr. Turki Alalshik co-signs for it. But I really do not believe that he is gonna get the Canelo fight, and if he does, he's probably just wants a retirement fund, a retirement money, because he is not gonna be able to enjoy it. He might go on a coma. But if you do get the fight, good for you. I'ma buy the pay-per-view because Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez sounds good as heck. But the product is gonna be a one-sided A-whooping, just like Errol Spence said about Terence Crawford, but it's gonna be for reals this time. I know there are some people in my comments that are gonna say that I'm a Terence Crawford hater, but I'm not a Terence Crawford hater. I actually like the dude. Well, I never met him, but I think he's a good dude. He's just, that's his business. But what am I gonna say? Oh, Terence Crawford is gonna knock out Canelo Alvarez the way he did Errol Spence? If that's the case, why didn't he knock out Madrimov like that? And Madrimov is at 154. He still has to go to 160 and 168. And Terence Crawford still hasn't got acclimated at 154. And even if he does, 154 is now 160 and 168. What do you guys think? Because he got acclimated at 154, that means he's automatically gonna get acclimated at 160 or 168? He still has 2 levels to go. Don't get me wrong, I believe Terence Crawford is the best fighter at 154, and I don't think anybody can beat Terence Crawford at 154. But at 168, come on. Terence Crawford is gonna hit Canelo Alvarez with his hardest shots, and he's not gonna budge, he's not gonna move. Terence Crawford is gonna get knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. Okay guys, the pay-per-view numbers for Canelo Alvarez and Berlanga just came out, and they made 750,000 pay-per-view buys. I do know if Canelo and Terence Crawford do fight, they will probably hit the million or even more, like Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. They'll probably hit 1.2 to 1.4, because then Mr. Turki Alalshik will be giving us the undercard, and that is probably gonna be stacked just like any Riyadh season undercard. Come on guys, let's be honest, let's be real. If Terence Crawford gets hit with the same punch that dropped Berlanga in the 3rd round, he will probably get a concussion and he will not be the same fighter again. That punch will knock out Terence Crawford. The weight is just too much. Some people say that because they're in the same height, that Terence Crawford all of a sudden is gonna weigh the same as Canelo Alvarez. It goes by weight, not by height. If Terence Crawford does get the Canelo fight, good for him. But you could expect kind of a chubby, buff Terence Crawford, similar to the way Floyd Mayweather looked when he fought John Gotti III. Kind of fit, kind of not. You will not expect a fit Terence Crawford that's all ripped and shredded, just like he always looks. Expect kind of like a fat, buff Terence Crawford. That's slower because he's gonna add 14 pounds to move around. That's a lot of weight. Go around with 14 pounds extra on you. Come on.